Don't you hate it when you click on an anime recommendations article or video and every single show listed is stuff everyone already knows about? Like, what do you mean you recommend Demon Slayer? I've seen it already, everyone has. That's annoying, right? Well, as someone who has seen a lot of anime over the years, close to 800 according to my anime list, good god, I need to touch grass. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I decided to recommend a bunch of shows to you guys. These titles aren't overly obscure, but they definitely aren't mainstream, and while not all of them are masterpieces, they are at the very least good shows. Also, I know I said anime, but I'll recommend a few light novels as well. Alright, let's get to it. Make sure to subscribe. I know you didn't. Now go down there and press the subscribe button. I wasn't asking. I know where you live. I'll find. The first anime I'd like to recommend is Dusk, Maiden of Amnesia, a 12-episode long romantic mystery horror produced at Studio Silver Link and directed by Shin Onuma and Takashi Sakamoto. Dusk, Maiden of Amnesia, despite being a horror anime, tells a story that tonally is quite different from what you'd expect from its presentation. I obviously won't spoil any of it, that would defeat the entire fucking purpose of this video, but it's a pleasant switch up. The story takes place in Seikyo Private Academy, and that's not hyperbole. Pretty much the entire story takes place in that godforsaken, literally, school, which might sound dull, but it's not. The show, at its core, is a supernatural horror, and naturally, it's very bold with its horror-esque visuals. Now, normally that would be a bad thing. Anime doesn't have the best track record when it comes to the horror genre. Go away, Uzumaki, you're scary for a completely different reason. But trust me, Dusk, Maiden of Amnesia is an exception. That spooky style of presentation actually works in this show's favor. In fact, I'd go as far as to say this anime is one of the best horror shows ever. It genuinely nails that unsettling vibe that so many other shows try to, only to fail miserably. It's so good. This is of course made possible by the perfect aesthetic choices made by the team and the incredible direction and storyboard work. More about the writing, the story itself isn't necessarily scary for the most part, but it does tackle some dark and disturbing themes, so I guess a bit of a trigger warning is in order. Although it's anime, none of it is real. Grow up, you'll be fine. The various components of the story interact with each other well and ultimately come together to create a satisfying conclusion. I obviously won't spoil how the story ends, but I'll say this, the ending is great, and so is the rest of the show. It's a short but memorable watch. The next anime I'd like to recommend is Non Biyori. Bit of a lengthy watch. It has 36 episodes split into 3 seasons, a movie and a bunch of OVAs, but it's worth it in my opinion. The show is a slice of life produced at Studio Silver Link and directed by Shinya Kawatsura, and you've definitely heard of it, but I'd bet my bottom dollar and my left kidney that most of you haven't actually seen it. Non Biyori, like I said, is a slice of life, and it's not that different from your typical cute girls do cute things show like, say, K-On!, which by the way has an amazing fan base consisting of both chill casual fans and supporters of a certain Austrian man with a funny mustache. One hell of a Venn diagram if you ask me. Non Biyori is like your typical CGDCT, but there's one thing that sets it apart: its setting and the resulting vibe and tone. The story, unlike most of its contemporaries, takes place in a rural setting. There's no fancy after-school clubs, no posh cafes, none of that. Just pure rural village stuff, and there's something so inexplicably appealing about that simplicity. The characters find joy in basic things, their interactions are deeply rooted in mannerisms associated with the countryside. The whole thing feels so comfy and familiar, for lack of a better term, and that's saying something because I've never stepped foot in a village in my life. If you're like me and you enjoy slower paced shows, you need to give this a shot. It's genuinely amazing. The third anime I'd like to recommend is Oddtaxi, a 13-episode mystery produced by Studios OLM and PICS and directed by Baku Kinoshita. Now, I know what you're thinking. Can an anime really be called obscure if Gigak made an entire video about it? Well, my dear viewers, shut up. So, Oddtaxi, in my opinion, is one of the best mystery anime ever. No caveats, no ifs, ands or buts, it just is. It's one of the best ever. The show, just like any other good mystery, refuses to hold your hand. It makes you think, an activity anime fans usually aren't that familiar with. It gives you all the pieces right off the bat, and it leaves you on the edge of your seat, clamoring for more as it slowly brings those pieces together and assembles the puzzle. It's so good. To carry on with that generic puzzle analogy, analogy, there's not a single unnecessary piece in this show. Each event, each character, each setting is there for a reason. There's no wasted effort, no pointless B or C plots, no distractions from the main story. It's genuinely one of the most focused narratives I've ever come across. No matter how alien an aspect might be, there's always a reason for its existence, and all of it comes together wonderfully by the end. On top of all that, the writing itself is fantastic. It's not just the multifaceted, focused story that's worth visiting this show for. It's the dialogue and how entertaining and snappy it is. It's the tight pacing. It's perfect, really. Now, once again, I know what you're thinking. Sure, the writing is great, that's all well and good, but why the f are the characters animals? Well, my dear viewers, shut up, watch the show to find out, that's all I'll say. Up next, I'd like to recommend Mashiro no Oto. Mashiro no Oto? Look at me being all Japanese. Konnichiwa minasan, probably pretentious this. Jesus fucking Christ, I want to kill myself. No, they'll demonetize me for saying that. Let's try that again, shall we? Jesus fucking Christ.
自殺したい.
There we go. Those Snow White notes, that's the English title by the way. Mashiro no Oto is a 12-episode musical drama produced at Shinei Animation and directed by Hiroaki Akagi. It's a compelling, captivating, confident, any other positive adjectives that start with a C? I love alliteration. So, creative. It's all of that and more. The show is a mature drama centered around but not limited to music. It features brilliant character work, fairly solid visual direction, and fantastic musical performances involving the traditional Japanese instrument koto. Koto? That's Kono Oto Tomare lad, wrong recommendations video. Shamisen is what I meant. The performances genuinely leave you at awe. The character drama is compelling, the characters themselves are endearing with just the right amount of realism. It's a fantastic show all around. Also, I don't know if this matters in the grand scheme of things, but the opening and ending songs are fantastic. It's a phenomenal watch, it's just a shame that it'll probably never get a sequel. The fifth and final anime I'd like to recommend is Train to the End of the World, a 12-episode long surreal adventure produced at Studio EMT Squared and directed by Tsutomu Mizushima. The most recent entry on this list and one of the best in my opinion. Now, surrealism can be a slippery slope. It's very easy for a show to either not go far enough, I'm looking at you, Nokotan, or go too far and end up being weird instead of good weird, I'm looking at you.
Unnamed popular anime whose fans I don't want to piss off currently.
Thankfully, neither of those scenarios applies to this title. Just like an average anime reaction channel sharing their opinions on a popular show, it makes sure not to go too far in either direction. Train to the End of the World is a fantastic anime that leans heavily into both plain old surrealism complete with a bit of that good old social commentary and character drama, and it executes both aspects wonderfully. The world is bizarre in all the right ways, the characters are fun to follow, their interactions with both themselves and the world itself are enjoyable to watch, the drama is initially subtle, but eventually it reaches a fever pitch, the visuals are trippy, the music accompanies and accentuates the overall tone brilliantly, it's just an incredible show all around. It's so good that it can dedicate an entire chunk of its runtime to the train simply driving through a series of bizarre environments with no dialogue accompanying it and still be captivating. And those were the anime recommendations. Let's now move on to a couple of light novels, and before you click off, hear me out. These are genuinely good. I know most of you are scared of words and the word novel terrifies you, but part of growing up is opening your minds to various mediums of entertainment. It's fine, trust me, it's fine. The words won't hurt you, I promise. First off, we have a big hitter. We have The Empty Box and Zeroth Maria, which in my opinion is one of the best light novels ever, point blank period. Hakomari, that's an abbreviation of the Japanese title, is a 7-volume long supernatural drama written by Eiji Miyake and illustrated by Tetsuo. And first things first, has a disclaimer/trigger warning. Hakomari is a dark, uncomfortable read. I know I made fun of trigger warnings earlier in this video, but I feel like one is very much needed when talking about Hakomari. It tackles both dark themes and grotesque narrative events. With that out of the way, this series is fucking brilliant. It's a dense, poignant, and oftentimes uncomfortable look at the human psyche. Now, it's very difficult to talk about this title without spoiling major events, but basically it tackles various characters and various aspects of their personalities, all while creating a fairly well-handled romantic subplot. Each volume is purposeful, each chapter is methodically written, each character has something unique to offer, offer. Each component of the story is wonderfully handled, and all of it comes together flawlessly in what is one of the most ambitious endings I've ever come across. Hakomari might not be a long read, but it's an unforgettable one. It stays with you. The second and final light novel I'd like to recommend is Amagi Brilliant Park, an 8-volume long, 8 as of this recording, comedic fantasy written by Shoji Gato and illustrated by Yuka Nakajima. Now, let's address the elephant in the room first. I'm sure the second I uttered the words Amagi Brilliant Park, some of you went, why the f would I read the novel when an anime adaptation, one produced by Kyoto f***ing Animation, exists? Why would I not just watch that instead? Well, because the anime adaptation doesn't really represent the story. I'll elaborate. There's nothing explicitly wrong with the anime, but what it does is it takes the broad, multifaceted novel, crunches the content down to 12 episodes, and slaps an anime-only ending on top of it, because the novel doesn't have an ending as of right now, and it probably never will. More about that in a bit. The anime might be enjoyable, but if you really want to get a taste of what the story is like, you need to check the novel out. Of course, you can still watch the anime, there's nought wrong with it. Nought wrong with it? Steady on, f***ing villainy. More about the writing, the story follows Seiya Kanye, who's held at gunpoint quite literally and told to revive a dying amusement park by our female lead Isuzu Sento, and that's exactly what he does, or at least tries to. That's basically the entire premise, and it's so good. The show has strong themes of nation building, aka it involves the protagonist building something, an amusement park in this case, and it's really fun. The show also features a fantastic cast of characters. The MC is extremely charismatic and capable, but is flawed and vulnerable enough to not be considered a power fantasy lead, while the rest of the cast is charming and extremely quirky, be it our female lead whose go-to method of asking for help is firing a 12-gauge shotgun in the vicinity of someone's cranium, or the stuffed teddy bear who loves listening to 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg. It's such an entertaining cast. Now, all of that would be good enough, but Amagi Brilliant Park has something else to offer. It has Volume 8. And to quote every subpar screenwriter's attempt at writing tension, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that Volume 8 is absolutely fantastic. It features a bleak, dark narrative that recontextualizes the entire story. It completely fucks up your perspective on everything that led up to it in the best possible way. The author was in his bag, as the kids say. The bad news is that this series has been on permanent hiatus since Volume 8. It's been over a decade, so I doubt we'll get any new content. It really is a shame because, like I said, Volume 8 is genuinely mind-blowing. I would have loved to see where the author would go from that point on, but sadly we'll never know. Basically, if you are planning on reading this series, which you should, please mentally prepare yourselves for the generational cockblock that is Volume 8. And that should do it for now. Did you enjoy this video? Are you planning on watching or reading any of the shows I talked about? Let me know down in the comments. I want to make this a recurring series, but I'll only do so if this video performs well. So if you've made it this far, press the like button, subscribe, donate to my Patreon. I don't have a Patreon. Send me your credit card information. I don't know, just engage with this video in any way you see fit. Let the almighty algorithm know that you enjoyed it. Also, check out this bit of content on screen, like and subscribe, and until next time.